Oasis Premium Purified Water. Now available in more thirst quenching options. 330 ml, 600 ml, 1.5 liter, and 5 liters. Choose the size that fits you best. Grab one today.
For the everyday lowest prices on all grocery items, trust Low Cost Supermarket for the widest variety of quality products at low prices. Freshly picked fruits and vegetables, healthy products for your well-being, high quality meat cuts, and a warm and friendly service. Low Cost Supermarket, Sun and Main Road, Cunupia.
Good evening, Assalamu alaikum, and welcome to See Results on IBN TV. I am your math teacher, Sir Ijaz Ramsahai, and today on a Monday we do math and we do English language arts, which follows the mathematics segment at 6 p.m. All right, so stay tuned for that at the end of this segment as well, but we have a long way to go before we get there. As you know, today is Monday, and on a Monday we like to review the work that you have done, that you would have submitted on Friday gone at 11:59 p.m. These assignments would have been created not this Saturday, but the previous Saturday in the morning time, and you had roughly, a week to get them completed, and they would have been based on, not last week, but the previous week's content that we did on the show, all right? And we do have 3 new assignments, again, that were posted on Saturday, this Saturday that just went, that was based on last week's work, and that's how it goes, all right? So every week we like to give you a little breakdown to show the performance of the students. We like to tell you basically where they did well, where they would have struggled, and how they can perhaps spend their time improving upon those areas that were a little troublesome for them, all right? So the weekly report. All right, so our class continues to grow, all right? All the way back, probably when we did this first report, we may have had less than 100 students in the first week of December, I think. We did our first report, and now we're up to 457, all right, which is fantastic. We have a lot of students joining every day. A lot of parents finding out about it from their colleagues, seeing it on Facebook, on their news feed, and looking for us and joining the program. So we welcome you. All right, we have 457 student members, and about a quarter of the parents are following their progress. All right, that's fine. And for this week, we had 2 assignments, one for ELA and one for mathematics. All right, so the ELA assignment actually was on, the types of adverbs. All right. Let's have a little remnant here from last week's report. And 58% of the students passed with an average of 47%, all right? So just bear me out there. That is a minor error. It's left back from the previous slide we had on our weekly class report, all right? But the figures are correct. We had 146 students doing the mathematics, which was based on bar graphs and equivalent fractions. All right, so the mathematics was actually based off of bar graphs and our equivalent fractions. All right, equivalent fractions. And again, the numbers there are accurate. We had 146 students participating, and 91% of them passed with an average pass mark of, with an average mark of 80%. All right? So what this means is that Well, for once, the mathematics seems to have been easier on them than the English language arts. A lot of students need to go back to those lectures, those presentations on the types of adverbs. It's available in our Facebook videos tab. All previous episodes are, and they are also in our YouTube channel, See Results. So you all can look for us on YouTube and subscribe to our channel, and there you get a better breakdown in terms of the title and the description of the content for each video. All right, so Ms. Nyla, of course, she continually reviews these concepts as they come back up. All right, there are different types of adverbs, time, place, manner, and degree, and so on, and you need to be able to decipher them or distinguish them from one another. That was the purpose of that particular assignment. All right. The mathematics, the students comprehended the bar graphs as well as finding for equivalent fractions quite well. So a lot of our students are showing, good strength in that area. So that might not be one that they need to worry too much about. Of course, individual results will vary. There will be students who did, really poorly or just average in them. So you get the feedback on an individual basis when you review your results for the quizzes, all right? So you can go ahead and do that, and you'll see where your child, whether they did really great, not so great, or somewhere in between, all right? And where they can, therefore, emphasize their efforts. Of course, the correct answers are also provided should they get them wrong, all right? So that's a benefit of using our edmodo.com webpage, web class, which is also available as an app for both, for all Apple, Android, as well as Windows phones, all right? So types of adverbs, students, you'll need to learn them, all right? And keep up the good work in terms of the bar graphs. The bar graphs questions are basically just interpreting those bar graphs and coming up with the mode and finding, adding up different combinations and so on, finding out the difference between, the most used thing or the most done thing and the least and so on. So the students were able to cope with that quite well, all right? So as we said, we have 3 new assignments, and they have been posted on Saturday based on last week's work, all right? So do check it out, and it's due on Friday at 11:59 p.m. once more, all right? So like last week, we only have one student that was able to get 100% in both the ELA as well as the math, and again here, the ELA was types of adverbs. Types of adverbs. Parents, please pay particular attention to this area. And the math was on the bar graphs and equivalent fractions. All right. And the equivalent fractions. So her name is Tiana Andrews. Someone that's a very much active person on our edmodo.com platform, all right? So Tiana actually supplants another Andrews, Angelina Andrews, who was the sole top performer for last week. Of course, we've had weeks where we've had multiple, so many that I needed 2 or 3 slides to give you all the names of those top performers, but in the last couple of weeks, the competition has become a bit stiffer because, we are getting more and more into the content. The questions are becoming a little more challenging, and that's fine, all right? Doesn't mean that we'll never have another top-performing slide filled with students' names on it, but that's how it went for the last couple of weeks, all right? So congratulations to Tiana Andrews. She's a student that always answers the questions of other students that contribute questions into our group, all right? That's another benefit of being on our edmodo.com page. All right, students, they share questions with each other, and I, myself, and Ms. Nyla give them a chance to answer it, and then we go through the responses, and we highlight the ones that were correct and the ones that were incorrect and why they were incorrect, all right, rather than us answering it for them, all right? That's a bit counterproductive in my opinion, all right? So students who try to message me privately on the Edmodo with their questions, I always tell them, no, put it in the group and give your peers a chance, all right? And the children in our group are, for the most part, very kind, very supportive, and very helpful of each other. So we commend you and keep up that, right? Especially people like Tiana Andrews and so many others. Now, we had a few students who missed out by just one question in either the ELA or in the mathematics. And of course, we like to highlight their performances as well. All right, so we have Aditya, who is always on our list, all right, be it as a top performer or honorable mention. We have a few names there that are returning names as well. All right, so congratulations to all of them. We've had Jaden a few times on here. Congrats to Vinaya, Vinicia, Zaria, Abdulaziz Mohammed, well done. Somebody that only joined in a few weeks ago and steadily working. And of course, Caitlin, well done to you. And then we have the creative writing, the students that submitted the pieces of writing that were most impressive, all right? And I'm not sure if this is a nickname or if his name is actually Music Alexander. All right, Joshua Barrow, who calls into the show all the time. Zaria James, all right, well done to you. And Tiana is also featured here. And Talia, Dakare, Tamara, Chris, Caitlin again, and Jonathan Sinanan. All right, so congratulations to all of you students. Keep working and keep striving to, better yourself, get yourself more prepared for the SAA exam. And of course, you have this added little incentive of getting your name featured on the show for your good work, all right? Who doesn't like that? Everybody wants to be on this list. For those of you who haven't made it to the list as yet, however, and you're constantly working and you're doing well, you're improving, all right? You're learning as you go. That in itself is something to be proud of, all right? This is just the cherry on top, as they say. So, keep striving to get there. But at the end of the day, you will improve as you continue to work on our assignments and quizzes, all right? So don't be discouraged at all. And we thank all of you for your participation. All right, so the parents who are watching for the first time, all right, students looking at this for the first time, how do you get involved in all of this? Rather than just being, a passive consumer of the content, which is fine as well. But if you want to get more interactive, which of course will benefit your child more in terms of preparation for the SEA exam, you visit www.edmodo.com, all right, or you download the Edmodo app on your mobile devices, and you are using this code on the screen, 6KJQ3Y, and you will be able to register your child as a student, and you also have the option to register as a parent. But even if you don't register as a parent, I like to stress that these are very young children, so I would advise that when they are doing the assignments, please supervise them while they are on these mobile devices and ensure that they are doing what they are meant to do. Because every week we have a number of students who begin quizzes and then they exit the quiz. It's timed, it's just like an exam. Once you take the quiz, all right? So that's why we say don't hasten to do it if you didn't watch all of the content, if you aren't familiar with it. All right, rewatch the videos on YouTube, on Facebook, revise from your textbook, from your notes, because you know what topics are being tested before you take it, all right? So it's either they begin the quiz and they get scared and they exit, and that's it, all right? If you go to sit SEA and you run out the exam room and you never come back, guess what? They're not going to take you back into the exam room after the exam is over, all right? So it's a similar thing. Once the timer begins, you have to take the quiz, all right? Or it might be that they have taken your phone or your tablet to do this quiz. You see them get on Edmodo, and then as soon as you turn your vision away, they're going to play some game, all right? Some game on their mobile devices. So please monitor them. All right. So we are currently in measurement, and we are going to continue from where we left off last week, Thursday. We were looking at length, all right, units of length measurement, and how to convert from the bigger units to the smaller units. And this is an, like a combination lesson because you're learning about decimals as well, all right, and how to multiply decimals by 10 and the various powers of 10, like 100 and 1,000 and so on. And the assignment that was posted on Saturday has to do precisely with that, all right, with units of length, as well as comparing fractions, which we would have completed last week, Monday, all right? And I've noticed from the preliminary results so far, about 60-something students have already done it, all right? A lot of students are having difficulty with these decimal places. All right, so I'm going to do a quick run through again about converting from the larger units to the smaller units, and then we'll do the opposite at the end. All right, and time permitting, we're also going to have a look at mass, which is another. We're going to look at the metric units for mass and also how to convert them. It's very similar, and that will give you some additional practice here this evening. All right. So we're going to remind you now of the numbers that you can call, and I will tell you when we are going to open up the lines. All right. Before we do so, we're just going to recap what we did last time. All right. So, okay, great. So we learned about length and the units of measuring length, right? And the standard unit in the metric system being the meter. And we said that it is basically a decimal system. And we showed how the basic unit, which is the meter, and then you have, all the prefixes in front of it. You have your decimeter and your centimeter, millimeter, and so on. You have your decameter and hectometer, kilometer. That is very similar to our place value chart, where we have the ones in the center, and we have our tenths, our hundredths, our thousandths, and then going in the other direction, we have our tens, hundreds, thousands. It's very similar to that, right? So it's basically a decimal system here. All right? And we said that there are units that are smaller than the meter and that are larger than the meter, that are related to the meter. All right? And the most commonly used were the millimeter and the centimeter, as well as the meter and kilometer, right? Millimeter, centimeter, meter, and kilometer. And we had a nice look at our digital ruler here and so on. And we even took your calls to see if you could tell us what would be the most appropriate unit of measurement to measure certain objects. All right, this is a outcome that the Ministry of Education have formulated, all right, in their curriculum, is that you should be able to estimate lengths, roughly the length of something or the appropriate units when estimating the length of something, all right? Very handy indeed in real life, all right? So we were also told about the decimeter, the decameter, the hectometer being rarely used, but of course we need to understand what it means, what these prefixes mean. The prefixes, of course, being these letters in front of the base unit, which is the meter, right? So we have deci meaning 1/10, deca meaning 10, and hecto meaning 100. Not very commonly used in real life, all right? And you probably won't get that in an SEA exam, all right? But you still have to know about it, all right? And there's this mnemonic here, device that you can use. King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. A bit dark, as we said, but you can come up with your own one as well. So the kilo being 1,000, the hecto being 100, the deca being 10, and then you have the base unit, in this case being the meter. You have the deci being 1/10 or 0.1, the centi being 100th or 0.01, and the milli being 1,000 or 0.001. All right. All right, and we had our comparison here, of course, to our typical place value chart. And I'm showing this again because it will be pertinent when we are doing the conversions later on in today's show once more. All right, we have that base unit here being the meter, which is like our ones in our normal place value chart. We have the deci being our tenths, the centi being the hundredths, the millimeter being the thousandths. And going the other way, we have the deca being our tens, the hecto being our hundreds, and the kilo being our thousands. All right? So I just highlight that again because we have a pretty red background here. And, right? So again, it's very much like our typical place value where we have the ones in the middle, tens, hundreds, thousands, all right? And we have our tenths, hundreds, and thousands. Okay. So this is the table that you need to know. You need to familiarize yourself with in order to answer these conversion questions, all right, before you even attempt to multiply anything, you have to know what you're going to multiply by, all right? So this is something that you have to learn off, all right? So we have been told that there are 10 millimeters in a centimeter, and you can check this for yourself on your ruler as we did last show, all right? There are 100 centimeters in the meter, 1,000 meters in a kilometer, and 1,000 millimeters in a meter, all right? So that will give us the clue of what to multiply or divide by when we are doing the conversion, when we are going from millimeters to centimeters or vice versa, or centimeters to meters, meters to kilometers, millimeters to meters. That these numbers here will tell you what to multiply or to divide by, right? They will inform your decision. All right, important thing to note. When we are converting from larger units of length to smaller ones, all right, we must multiply. Think about it. You have a large piece of something and you're breaking it up into smaller pieces. Of course, you're going to end up with more pieces, all right? There'll be smaller pieces, but there'll be more in number. So when we are going from larger to smaller, we need to multiply, all right? Very important. When we are multiplying by our powers of 10, all right, kids out there, pay attention, right? A lot of you all have already made some very simple errors in your assignment from Saturday gone, all right? So this is a heads up for those of you who haven't done it as yet, all right? And I always implore you, all right? I know a lot of you can't wait from the time Thursday's program is done, you're messaging, you're posting on the group, when is the next assignment, when is the next assignment? They always, you know, by the permission of God, come out on a Saturday morning. You do not have to do them that very moment. They are due on the Friday at 11:59 p.m. You have lots of days. All right, use some time to revise, to review before you try to do the quiz. All right, unless you're very, 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 very confident that you know what you're doing. All right, because you might do it, you might not get the marks that you were hoping for, and then probably you want to be up here, your name to be up here on a Monday afternoon when we're doing our weekly report, and because of your anxiousness to do it, you missed out, all right? So you have time, use the time, all right? So when we're multiplying by powers of 10, we move our decimal point one or more places to the right, 1 for 10, 2 for 100, etc. And we're going to demonstrate that again on the board very soon. And it's always that you move the point by the number of zeros in our power of 10, all right? Okay, I don't like to say multiple of 10 necessarily because 20, 30, 40, etc. are also multiples of 10. All right, we are dealing with powers of 10 here, although yes, they are also multiples of 10, all right? But that's just a side point for those parents that are listening in as well, all right? So if there are no more decimal fractions, we add a 0 for each place moved. And again, we are going to see an example of what we mean by that. An example or two, actually, all right? So we have an example here that we have to convert or change 8 centimeters to millimeters. If you recall the conversion table just a couple slides ago, all right? And of course, when you're rewatching this, you can pause it. I'm sure that that's going to be in your maths textbook, whatever maths textbook you are using for SEA, all right? There are 10 millimeters in a centimeter. The centimeter is larger than the millimeter. So therefore, that means that we have to multiply, going from larger to smaller, all right? How many millimeters are there in a centimeter? There are 10, all right? And that's something that you have to know in order to know what to do next, all right? So we multiply our 8 by 10, all right? There are no decimal fractions after the 8 here for our point to hop over. So we move it once to the right, and therefore we have to add a 0, all right? We have to add a 0, all right? Please note that. So that's how we get 8 centimeters being equal to 80 millimeters, all right? Another example, we have 2.5 meters and we have to convert that to centimeters, all right? 2.5 meters to centimeters. Is the meter larger than the centimeter? Yes, it is. How many centimeters make up a meter? 100 centimeters make up a meter, all right? So we have to multiply by 100. How many zeros do we have in the number 100? We have 2 zeros. We are multiplying. Therefore, we have to move our point to the right. Okay? So if we move our point once, right? No more decimal fractions. We moved it again. We have to add a 0 now. So that's how we get 250 centimeters being equal to 2.5 meters. All right? We moved the decimal point twice. On the first move, it hopped over the 5. No need to add a 0 there. We moved it once more. There was no decimal fraction there for it to jump over. All right? So we add a 0. All right? I hope everyone is with me so far. All right? And this was the last 3 questions that we did on the program. We did, in fact, get to cover it. All right? So I'll just remind you of the answers. Again, we're going centimeters to millimeter, larger to smaller, so we have to multiply by what? How many millimeters are there in a centimeter? There are 10, all right? So we multiply by 10, and we get 90 millimeters. We add that 0 because we move the point. There's no decimal fraction, so we have to add a 0, all right? We have 4 meters, 6 centimeters, and we need to convert this all into centimeters. We already have a part of our answer in centimeters, all right? We want to get the other part to also be in centimeters. So we have 4 meters here, okay? What do? How many centimeters are in a meter? 100, all right? So we multiply our 4 by 100. It gives us, we have to add 2 zeros here, all right? No decimal fractions in this number. And we add it to 6. And we'll get a total of 406 centimeters, all right? And for the last example, we have 6.5 kilometers to meters, all right? Again, it's a larger unit being converted into a smaller unit. How many meters are there in a kilometer? All right, again, that's something that you have to know, that you have to learn, you have to commit to memory. You have to do a lot of practice, all right, to make sure that it sticks. All right, so there are 1,000 meters in the kilometer. We multiply this 6.45, right, 6.45 by 1,000. All right, we have 2 decimal places to jump over, 2 decimal fractions, and on the third one, we have to add that extra 0. All right, so we had 6,450 meters. All right, so that there is your recap. All right, there's one more thing that I want to do in converting from the larger units to the smaller units, which will also be applicable in the other direction. All right, because I've noticed that it comes up sometimes in your SEA questions and even in your workbooks and in your textbook exercises and so on. All right, but I don't want to jump the gun and answer it. I want to see if any of our viewers out there can assist me first. All right, so those numbers now to call the studio will be up on your screen. And I'm just going to flip our page to the appropriate slide. All right, so we have to convert to the unit in the brackets. All right, we have 3 questions here. 2.5 meters to centimeters, 7 3/4 meters to centimeters, and 1.5 kilometers to meters. All right? What do we do and how do we treat those fractions? So I have a caller on the line. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results on IBN TV. Hello, good day. All right, so that caller may have gotten a little scared. I have another caller on the line. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results on IBN TV.
Hi.
Hi, and who am I speaking with?
Ebenezer Smart.
Ebenezer, welcome. Welcome, Ebenezer, a very hard-working student on Edmodo. Ebenezer, can you tell me how to convert 2.5 meters to centimeters?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
2.5 is equal to 2.5.
Right.
And 2.5 multiplied by 100 is 250 centimeters.
And why are you multiplying by 100? Why are you multiplying by 100 and not 10 or not 1,000, Ebenezer?
Because 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Ebenezer. You are absolutely correct. Thank you so much for that call, all right? So,
Yeah.
how did Ebenezer know to do that, guys? There are some fractions which are commonly used fractions that we should know the decimal equivalent to, all right? So we have a half here twice on our screen and 3/4, all right? So I'm going to give you those equivalent decimals to those common fractions. But in the meantime, I do have two more questions. Let's see who can tell us about 3/4. Good evening and welcome to See Results on IBN TV.
Hi,
Hi, welcome. And who am I speaking with?
Joshua Barrow.
Hey, welcome, Joshua. Did you see your name up there on our top performers this week?
Yes.
All right, excellent. Can you tell me how to convert 7 3/4 meters into centimeters?
They have to put it in small, like 7 3/4 is 7.75.
Right.
It does. And you have to multiply it by 100.
Okay. And what would that give me?
What 775 meters.
All right, excellent. 775 centimeters, right?
Yes.
All right, great work, Ebenezer. Thank you so much.
Yes.
All right, so we have one more, 1.5 kilometers. We already know how to treat with the half fraction in terms of converting it to a decimal fraction. All right.
Yep.
Okay, so
That would be 1/5. 1.5. 1.5.
yeah,
1.5. It's 1.5.
yeah, 1.5. And what are we converting between for this question?
The constant by 1,000.
All right.
Multiply 1,000. Multiply by 1,000.
Excellent, Ebenezer. And what is the answer there?
Yes.
Sorry, Joshua. And what is the answer here?
1,500.
1,500. And what's our units?
Meters.
Meters. All right. Well done, Joshua. Thank you so much for your call.
Later.
All right, later. Okay, so we have 1.5 kilometers and we need to convert it to meters, okay? And we have to know that there are 1,000 meters in a kilometer. Therefore, we have to multiply by 1,000. All right? So multiplying by 1,000, we have to move our decimal place 3 times because there are 3 zeros here. That's your hint. All right? We begin moving from between the 1 and the 5. 1, 2, 3. We added those zeros for all of those times we moved it, and there was not a decimal fraction for us to hop across. All right, so I hope that that's very clear to everyone. All right, and everybody should know these. All right, there are some more, and the next time or when we get further into decimals, I will tell you about some more fractions, but these are the very common culprits. We have a quarter, which we did not have in this last couple of questions here, is equal to 0.25 in decimal fraction or decimal notation. All right, a half is 0.5 and 3/4 is 0.75. Everyone needs to commit this to memory. All right, you may have heard if you have, well, there are not many things remaining now that costs just cents again, but perhaps you might still be familiar with it, students. If somebody asks you if you have a quarter, or a bob, or a shilling, as we used to call it in primary school, which might not be the technically correct terms for them, all right? A quarter of $1 is 25 cents, all right? 2/4 you would have 50 cents, all right? If you have 3/4 or 3 25 cents in your pocket, you would have 75 cents, all right? Of course, if you have 4 of those 25-cent pieces, you would have 1 or a whole dollar. That used to be the very easy way, you know, to make sure that you don't forget this. But now, as we say, you know, there are very few things remaining out there that cost less than $1 now, all right? So hopefully we can still carry this knowledge forward with us, even though we're not using it so much or so often in our daily lives anymore, all right? I think our Bobby might be 50 cents now, if I'm not mistaken. Could be more, all right? So that was converting from the larger units to the smaller units. But what if we're doing the opposite? All right, we're going from a smaller unit and we want to convert it to a larger unit of length, all right? We have to divide, all right? We have to divide in that case. So please note, all right, to convert a smaller unit of length to a larger one, we must divide. And when we're doing the larger to the smaller, as we said earlier, we need to multiply. Okay. So, and it's very similar in that when we are dividing by our powers of 10, all right, we move our decimal point not to the right anymore, but to the left. All right, and we move it the same number of times as we would when we are multiplying. All right, if we're multiplying by 10, we move it once. Notice there's only 1 0 in the number 10. All right, if we are multiplying by 100, or sorry, dividing, we move it 2 times to the left. All right, 1,000, we'd move it 3 times and so on. All right, if there aren't any more numbers for us to hop over, all right, then we add a 0 again for each place that we move. All right, and we're going to see that again in our examples now. Okay, so our first example asks us to convert or to change 75 millimeters into centimeters. All right, which one is bigger, the millimeter or the centimeter? The centimeter is bigger. All right, so we're going from a smaller unit here to a larger unit. All right, we're going from a smaller one to a larger unit. Again, we need to recall that there are 10 millimeters in a centimeter. So therefore, we have to divide by 10. All right, so we begin with 75. All right, and we have to divide by 10, so we move our decimal place once to the left. We don't have to add any 0, all right, because we haven't crossed all of our numbers already. So we are left with 7.5 centimeters, or as we said, as we just learned, or as your memory may have been refreshed there, 7.5 centimeters, all right? So that's just a by the way to remind you about those common fractions and common decimal equivalents. All right, we have another example here. We have 475 centimeters that we need to convert to meters, all right? Again, are we going from a smaller unit to a larger unit? Yes, we are, all right? We're going from centimeters to meters, all right? And what is the rate of conversion? We have 100 centimeters in a meter, smaller to larger, so we have to divide. So we divide 475 by the number 100, and we have to move the point, therefore, once, twice, and we'll end up with 4.75 centimeters, meters. We're converting the meters here. All right, which is the same also as, of course, you'd give your answer as a decimal here for this problem, but this is just to reiterate, right? This is 4 3/4 meters. All right, right, okay, good. Good. All right. So our last example here now, we have 28.5 meters converting to kilometers. The meter is a smaller unit of length than the kilometer. All right, there are 1,000 meters in a kilometer, so therefore we have to divide by 1,000. All right, 1,000 has how many zeros? 1,000 has 3 zeros. So we have to move our decimal point 3 places to the left because we are dividing. All right, So we moved it. Our point was initially here between the 8 and the 5. We move it once, twice. We have no more numbers to cross. So the third time we move it, we have to add this 0 over here. All right, so you'll end up with 0.0285 kilometers. All right, 0.0285 kilometers. All right, and it's conventional that when you're writing a decimal and there isn't a whole number part to it, all right, that you put a 0 there before the point. All right, that's conventional. So you should do that. Not that it will be wrong without it, but that is the convention. All right. So great. So we are going to open up the lines now, and we're going to take some of your calls. All right. We have some questions for you to work out. So we have a number of them. We have 3 on the board at the moment, and we are converting here. We have different units to convert, all right? So I have a caller on the line. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results. Hi,
Hello?
Hello, good evening, caller. Who am I speaking with?
This is Zachary Boston.
Welcome, welcome. Are you on our Edmodo page as well? I feel like I've seen your name before.
Yes.
All right, so thank you for calling our show. What do we have to do to convert 60 millimeters to centimeters, Zachary?
Divide by 10.
Divide by 10. How come you're dividing by 10?
Because when the conversion of 1 centimeter is 10 millimeters.
All right, excellent. And when I divide 60 by 10, what will happen here? What's going to happen?
6 centimeters.
6 centimeters, right?
Yes.
6.0 or 6 centimeters. All right, Zachary. Zachary, do you want to help me with the second question at same time?
Yes.
All right, so we have 99 millimeters, 2 centimeters. What's our solution here now?
Divide by 10.
All right, we divide it again by 10. And that gives me?
9.9 centimeters.
Excellent, 9.9 centimeters. All right, Zachary, thank you so much for your call and for your time. Well done. All right, so we moved our decimal place once, and we get 9.9. I have another caller on the line to help me with number 3. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results.
Hello, good evening.
Hi, and who am I speaking with?
Micah George.
Welcome, Micah George, another Edmodo student of ours, and we are converting 125 centimeters to meters. What do we have to do, Micah?
We have to move the decimal. We have to move the decimal point, which is at the end, 2 places to the left.
All right.
And I get 1.25, which is also 1.25 meters.
Excellent, 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 excellent. All right, so Micah definitely understood what we were just saying about the fractions. All right, so well done, Micah. That's very correct. All right.
Okay.
So before, thank you. And so before I switch up this slide, you know, some of you at home might be wondering, well, how come we move in the decimal point? There isn't a decimal point in the number 60. There isn't a decimal point in the number 99. All right, so we just want to remind you that, all right, we have no fraction in this number of 60 here, right? Or any decimal fraction. So that means that we have 0 tenths, 0 hundredths, 0 thousandths, 0 tenths of thousands, and so on. All right, so we can place a decimal point there. All right, and from that point we can move it the required number of places. So we don't write out all of those zeros after the decimal point normally, because it doesn't really give us any information about the number that we are looking at. All right, there aren't any fraction or decimal parts to the number, so there's just going to be a whole bunch of zeros there. But it is there, although we are not actually writing it, all right? Or it's not incorrect to place one there because that's what it means. It separates the fractional part of it from the number part of it, all right, or the whole number part of it. So I have some more questions. I have a caller on the line. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results on IBN TV.
Hi, my name is Samara Johnson.
Welcome to our program. Can you help me convert 250 centimeters to meters?
250 centimeters to meters?
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Wait, hold on. I just opened it up.
Okay.
Okay, I have the answer. The answer is 2.5 meters.
2.5 meters. What number did you divide by?
I divided by 100.
How come?
Because 1 meter equals 100 centimeters.
Excellent, excellent. So help me out with number 5 as we have you on the line, right?
Okay.
I have 7,250 meters and I would like to convert that to kilometers. Can you help me out there?
Yes.
All right.
So the answer would be 7.25 kilometers.
7.25 kilometers.
Yeah.
All right. How did you do that? How did you get that?
1 meter equals 1,000 kilometers. I mean, 1 kilometer equals 1,000 meters.
Very
So
good.
1 kilometer equals 1,000 meters. So 7,250 divided by 1,000.
All right. Excellent. So thank you so much for your help. All right. Those were very correct answers. All right. We have 1,500 meters here on the board. Do I have a caller for this one? Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results on IBN TV.
Good day.
Hi, good day. And who am I speaking with?
My name is Musa Bishop.
All right. So can you please lower the volume on the television?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So go ahead. 1,500 meters to kilometers.
You're dividing 1,000 by 15,000 and you get 1.5.
All right. So we're dividing 1,500 by 1,000, right? Or 1,500 by 1,000. And we'll get how much?
1.5.
Right. 1.5 kilometers.
Yeah, kilometers.
All right. Thank you so much for your call. All right. All right. So, we have a few more to do in this exercise before we move on, all right? So, I want to convert 8 millimeters to centimeters. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results on IBN TV. Hello, good day. Hi, good evening. Who am I speaking with?
Devon Powder.
Welcome, Devon. Welcome, welcome. A very hard worker on our See Results page. Devon, can you help me convert 8 millimeters to centimeters?
Yep.
Okay, go ahead.
8 millimeters is equal to 0.8 centimeters because you divide 8 millimeters by 10.
Right, so we move our decimal place 1 to the left, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and we put that 0 before the decimal point. And we got 0.8 centimeters. What about number 8, Devon? Can you help me to convert 37.5 millimeters to centimeters?
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
37.5 millimeters to 3.75 centimeters.
All right, how much you divided by there?
10.
10. All right, great. So that's 3.75 centimeters. All right, Devon, thank you so much for your call. All right, do I have another call on the line to convert 72 centimeters to meters?
Hello,
Hi, good evening, and who am I speaking with?
this is Micah again.
Hey, welcome back, Micah.
For number 4, when you had 250 centimeters and it was 2.5, it could have also been 2 and a half meters.
Excellent. Well done, Micah. And what about number 9 here? 72 centimeters to meters. How do I do that?
We move the decimal point 3 places to the left, which is 0.72.
All right. Did you move it 3 places or 2 places?
I mean 2 places, sorry.
All right. Very good. And why did you move it 2 places?
Because 100 has 2 zeros in it.
Right. 100 has 2 zeros in it. Or in other words, there are 100 centimeters in a meter, right?
Uh-huh.
All right, Micah. Thank you for your call again. All right. So I have some more challenging ones up on the board now. Do I have a caller for number 10? Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results on IBN TV. Hi, good evening, caller. Caller, good day. All right, so for those of you at home, I hope you're having a good look at this. Feel free to call us at those numbers. All right, 663-8373 and 645-4426. All right, we have 4 centimeters to convert to meters, 975 meters to convert to kilometers, and 24 meters also to convert to kilometers. All right. So for our first one, I do have a caller. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results on IBN TV.
Good day.
Hi, good day. And who am I speaking with?
My name is Shepard Scope, and I am calling to do number 10.
All right, great. Can you give me your answer and how you're working it out?
My answer is 0.004.
0.004?
Yeah.
All right. How much are we dividing by?
100.
All right, because there are 100 centimeters in a meter. So how many places we have to move that decimal point?
2.
Right, so I moved it once, and I moved it again, and I have to put a 0. All right? So we put our decimal point there and our 0 before, so we'll end up with 0.04. Right, not 004, right?
Yeah.
All right, that's okay though. Thank you so much for your call. You wanna try to answer number 11 since you're on the line?
Yeah.
All right, great. Go ahead.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah, no problem. We have 975 meters and we want to convert it into kilometers. All right. So notice he just made a minor error. Well, he made an error just now. All right. That could have cost him the mark for that question, even though he knew what he was doing. All right. You have to be very careful in counting your zeros and in knowing how much to move your decimal point. Are you ready with your answer?
Yes.
All right. Go ahead.
The answer is 975.00000 kilometers.
You sure about that? Which one is bigger, the meter or the kilometer?
Where is that in the area?
Which unit is larger, the meter or the kilometer?
Kilometer
Right, so do I have to multiply or divide?
or divide.
Right, so go ahead.
So the answer is 0.9975.
0.975. What is our unit?
The kilometers.
All right, thank you so much for your calls and for sticking it through with us, all right? So I have another question here on the board. I have 24 meters to convert to kilometers. All right, do I have a caller on the line? Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results.
Hello.
Hi, and who am I speaking with?
Huh?
Sorry?
Huh?
Who am I speaking with?
David Alonso.
All right, David, welcome to the program. Can you help me convert 24 meters to kilometers, please?
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
24 divided by 1,000.
Right.
I'll get 0.024 kilometers.
0.024 kilometers. All right, excellent. Thank you for that call. All right, so we moved our decimal point 3 places. All right, 1, 2. On the third time, there was no number for us to hop over, so we had to put that 0 over there. All right, and okay. So we have a couple of minutes to go. So I'm just going to begin now explaining about mass and weight. All right, we are also in the measurement, and we are still in the measurement strand. All right, you'll also get questions in your SEA about converting between different units of mass. All right, so mass is the amount of matter that something is made up of, and we, in the daily life, we interchange the words mass and weight. All right, when you all hopefully write your SEA exam and go up into secondary school, spend a couple years there, and you learn a little bit more about physics. You'll learn the real difference between mass and weight. But for now, at this age, all right, we are going to consider them to be basically the same thing. All right, so we're thinking about mass here, and the standard unit of mass in the metric system is the gram. All right, and it's also a decimal system. All right, we also have our centigrams and our milligrams. We also have our decagrams and hectograms and kilograms, and we also have a different one, which is the ton. All right, so probably for about the first 1/3 to a half of next Thursday's, well, this Thursday's mathematics segment, we'll do some work on the mass conversion. We won't split it up into multiplying and dividing because you've already, well, hopefully mastered that concept here with the units of length. All right, so we're just going to discuss a little bit more about the conversions in mass, and I will throw in conversions that going from smaller units of mass to larger units of mass, and also larger units of mass to smaller units of mass, and this will give you the extra benefit of having some more practice with those decimal points. Like I said, I've identified that some students had struggled with it. So far, the ones who've done the assignment that was posted on Saturday. All right, so this will have the bonus or the added effect of giving you some more practice. All right, I know most of our callers who call in, they are very confident. They call in because they know the answer, or they are very close to the answer. We do have some viewers, who are a bit shyer. They perhaps haven't got it 100% down as yet. Or it could just be that they're hastily doing the quizzes and making some errors, all right? But I want to make sure that we all understand how to move this decimal point, all right? Otherwise, you're going to be very much stranded when you have to do this conversion, all right? So the basic unit of mass here is the gram, all right? We have smaller and bigger units, just like in our length, all right? The most commonly used is the gram itself and the kilogram, all right? And we also have the milligram, which is even smaller, all right, used to measure the mass, of lighter objects. And we have a larger unit than the kilogram, which is the ton, all right? So you may have heard about the tons before. How does that relate to the kilogram? We're going to find out, all right? And this is our conversion table when it comes to mass, all right? So I'll just leave this up here. We have 1,000 milligrams being equal to a gram, 1,000 grams being equal to a kilogram, and 1,000 kilograms being equal to the ton, all right? Though these milligrams to gram and grams to kilogram should be very, very, very familiar to you. I mean, we just did that 1,000 millimeters is equal to 1 meter, all right? And we also did that 1,000 meters is equal to 1 kilometer, right? Or 1 kilometer. So you should be seeing the similarity there. And on Thursday's program, we are going to practice conversion using the mass units, and also throw in there some SEA type questions I found that are quite interesting. and that will be our objective for the next show. So once again, congrats to all of our students who made it to our weekly top performers. Congrats to all the students who are trying their best, to improve themselves and also to make it onto our list. We wish you continued growth and continued betterment, and we hope that you enjoy our program with us and you stick with us until your SEA exams. All right, I have been your math teacher, Sir Ijaz. You will be rejoined at 6 by Miss Nyla before our Maghrib break, and then we'll continue, all right? So in a few minutes, we'll be back with English Language Arts with Miss Nyla, so please don't go anywhere. Take care and do have a pleasant evening.
For the everyday lowest prices on all grocery items, trust low-cost supermarket for the widest variety of quality products at low prices. Freshly picked fruits and vegetables, healthy products for your well-being, high-quality meat cuts, and a warm and friendly service. Low-cost supermarket, Sun and Main Road, Cunupia.
Assalamu alaikum, good evening guys, and welcome to C Results. Thanks for joining me right here on IBN TV. I'm Miss Nyla, and I'm going to be taking you through the next hour approximately with ELA. So as you guys know, we are on task 3. We are still with this section here, section 1, and we are focusing on grammatical errors. However, we are drawing near to the end of this task. So what we are doing basically, we are revising rules, we are reinforcing rules, and we are doing a lot of practice, right, to help get you ready to master that task, or the first 3 tasks, in fact, right? So by the time we are finished, doing all of this, you should be prepared, should have sufficient information to work with, enough practice, reinforcement to help you, right? So that's the aim here. We want to, help you maximize your full potential and earn the maximum marks, of course, in your section 1. Soon we'll be moving on to section 2. Section 2, as you know, consists of the comprehension, you have your poetry, and then you have your graphic. So don't worry, guys. We are approaching that soon. We're going to try to do as much work as possible on those 3 tasks as well before the SE exam. And it's a new week, so which means we are 1 week closer to that examination, right? So now is the time for you, if you haven't already, buckle down and get serious about it. In addition to all the work that we are doing here, we have quizzes up on that Edmodo app for you to access. It's there every week, and Sejaz and I, we put for you, we have mathematics, ELA, and creative writing, of course. So please don't miss out on that opportunity to assess yourself, and for parents, for you to assess your child as well. Okay, these are concepts that we have been teaching since November when we started the program initially, and we have done quite a lot of work, right? So it's up to the students to sit there and to use that information to help them in the classroom. So we're going to move on now to what we have been doing. For the last couple episodes, I should say, we are now tying up subject-verb agreements. And as I said, we have approximately 20 rules in subject-verb agreement. And we have covered quite a lot so far, all right? At least 12 or 13. We are probably just going to do about 17, the ones that you all need to know in the classroom. So please pay attention and practice these rules. It's going to help you not only for ELA, it's also going to help you for creative writing. And as you know, all of this is very important for the grammatical section in the creative writing for you to earn that total 5 marks. Right? So all the rules that you are learning here apply it to your writing. The only way that you are going to master that is by actually practicing it. Okay? So let's move on here. First, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to recap a little bit the rules that we covered thus far. So if you missed any one of these rules so far, just remember you can go back to our results page on Facebook. And of course, now we have a YouTube channel where you can also access all of the videos that we do. And it's easy for you to get through to these videos, okay? They are labeled, and it's just for you one click away, and you can view these videos and remind yourselves of the rules. So far we know that a singular subject takes a singular verb, while a plural subject takes a plural verb. A collective noun, when singular in number, takes a singular verb. And likewise, when plural in number, takes a plural verb. So it's important for you to look at the subject of your sentence there, determine whether it's a singular collective noun or a plural collective noun. Then we have two singular subjects separated by either or neither nor must be followed by a singular verb. And neither nor and either nor has several rules in which you need to master. Right? Second one being, when neither nor or either or join two subjects, one subject being singular and the other plural, the verb agrees with the subject closer to it. Now, this is a very tricky one for a lot of students. I taught you a few tricks, to help you when you have to apply this rule. So it's important for you to remember it and to master it. And then we also learned that a singular subject with an intervening phrase, like together with or accompanied by or along with, so on, such phrases, takes a singular verb. After the expressions, so this is different to neither nor or either or. After the expressions neither of or either of, a singular verb is used. And then when you have the subject pronoun I, when I, the subject pronoun, is one of the two subjects connected by either or neither nor, place it second and follow it with the singular verb am. Now, if you're a little confused about this, just go back to that video and rewatch it. All of these, as a matter of fact, right? Refresh your memory, right? And familiarize yourself with the rules and the examples. The examples are there for you to follow. If you don't quite understand the activities that we did, because probably you're watching it for the first time, look at the examples. I always put examples there for you to follow, and it's easy for you to understand the rule when you see that example. And of course, you can come up with your own sentences and your own examples, right? And then we also covered this rule. If two subjects are joined by and, whether the subjects are singular or plural, they usually require a plural verb form. The pronouns each, everyone, everybody, anyone, none of, one of, someone, and somebody are singular in meaning and therefore require singular verbs, right? So you must remember this when you are using these pronouns. So now we are going to cover another rule, right? So let's look at this rule and try to understand it as best as possible. So look at this rule here. Expressions such as most of, many of, a lot of, a little of, much, and some of can take either a singular or plural verb. Now notice it's saying all of these expressions here can either take a singular or a plural verb, right? So it's important for you to know this second part here that's coming up. If the subject is countable, the verb is plural. Again, if the subject of the sentence is countable, the verb is plural. When it is uncountable, the verb is singular. So this is, you must be mindful of this rule here. I'm going to reiterate this rule right after we come back. We're just going to take a short break for the Maghrib Adhan, and we'll be right back, guys. So just before the break, we started off with subject-verb agreement. Actually, we're ending up or rounding up the topic of subject-verb agreement, looking at all the rules that we need to master to help us in that section 1, task 3 of the paper. So we're looking at this rule here, and I'm just going to go over this rule. It says expressions such as most of, many of, a lot of, a little of, much, and some of can take either a singular or plural verb. So just be mindful of the expressions and that it takes, or it can either take a singular or a plural verb. This here is what you need to know. If the subject is countable, the verb is plural. When it is uncountable, the verb is singular. So when I say countable, I mean that you can actually count it, okay? You can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, persons, chairs, tables, whatever it is, you are able to count it. And when I say uncountable, we are referring to like something probably like milk or rice or something of that sort, okay? Or probably flour. It's uncountable. So just be mindful of that. And in that case, once it's countable, the verb that follows will be plural. And once it's uncountable, the verb will be singular. So we are going to look at a couple sentences here. And of course, the numbers are going to be up on your screen. And you can call us and help us to complete these sentences. So let's look at number 1 here. Some of the pillows on the bed is or are yours. Now, we have a call on the line already, so I'm going to take this call. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results.
Hi, evening.
Hi, good evening. What's your name?
Nicholas.
Hi, Nicholas. So
Hi.
what do you think is the answer?
The answer is some of the pillows on the bed are yours because pillows can be countable.
And once it is countable,
It is followed by a plural verb, and when it is uncountable, it is singular.
excellent job. Right, guys? So for those of you at home, right, once it is countable, it is followed by a plural verb. And when it is uncountable, it is followed by a singular verb. We have another call on the line. Good evening, caller, and welcome to See Results. Hi, good evening. Welcome to See Results. Okay, we lost that call there. So I'm just going to look at number 2. A lot of rice was or were cooked to raw. So you have to look at the subject and first determine whether the subject here is countable or uncountable, right? So you have to do that for all sentences. And then you will know which verb to choose. And just as a reminder here, so if it's the first time you're probably seeing this rule, right, and you have to use it, just remember if the subject is countable, the verb is plural. And if the subject is uncountable, the verb is singular. I have a call on the line. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results. Singular. I have a call on the line. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results. Hi, good evening.
Hi.
Hi. What's your name?
Alexander.
Okay, nice to have you with us. Just remember to lower the volume on the television set, okay? So we get a lot of feedback. Remember to lower the volume on the television set, okay? So we get a lot of feedback. Okay, so we're looking at number 2 here. What do you think is the answer? Okay, so
1 minute.
Sure. What do you think is the answer? Sure. Call, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, so what do you think is the answer? A lot of rice was or were cooked to raw. Okay, so what do you think is the answer? A lot of rice was or were cooked to raw.
Was.
Was. Why do you say was?
Because when the singular verb takes a...
So I'm just going to help you there to remind you. If the subject is countable, the verb is plural. So your answer is correct, but you should also know the rule here that applies, right? But when it is uncountable, meaning the subject, the verb is singular. So we have the subject here being a lot of rice. A lot of rice is actually uncountable, right? So, because we don't sit and actually count the grains of rice that we eat. So it's a lot of rice was cooked 2-row, and this 2 here is actually T-double-O, right? So that's just a typo there. So thank you so much for your call and your contribution. We have another call on the line. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results. Good evening, caller. Okay, I think we lost that one there. Right, guys? As opposed to number 1, where we say some of the pillows.
Hello?
Hi, good evening. Welcome to See Results.
Hello?
Hi, good evening. Welcome to See Results.
My name is Centimetres.
Nice to have you with us. So we are looking at number 3 here.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you think is the answer?
What? Verb.
Were. Why do you say were?
Because it is countable.
It is countable. We can actually count grapes on a bunch. So you are correct. Thank you so much for calling. So here again, it's countable. Likewise, with pillows, it's countable. We have another call on the line. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results.
Hi.
Hi, good evening. What's your name?
My name is Centimetres.
Nice to have you with us. So we're on number 4. What do you think is the answer for number 4?
And the answer is.
Is. Why is?
Because it is uncountable.
Uncountable. Excellent job. Right? Uncountable. Milk there is uncountable. And we have a final caller for number 5. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results.
Hi.
Hi, good evening. What's your name?
Saria.
Nice to have you with us. So you're on number 5 here. What is the answer?
All of the girls want to go
To the movies. So all of the girls there. Caller, are you there?
Yes.
Right. So all of the girls, is that countable or uncountable?
Countable.
Countable, right? Excellent job. Thank you so much for your call. Okay, guys, so we're just going to ease up on the calls for a minute, and I'm just going to recap what we did here. So we said that if the subject is countable, the verb is plural. When it is uncountable, the verb is singular. So looking at the sentences here, and if you look at the subject in each sentence, we can determine whether the subject is countable or uncountable. For instance, some of the pillows. Can we count pillows? Yes, we can, right? So that is countable. But what about milk? Right, a little milk, right? That is uncountable, so therefore we use a singular verb, right? So that was another one of the subject-verb agreements rule there. So let's move on to another rule. When most of, many of, a lot of, a little, much, some of, or any refers to a number, a plural verb is used. When they refer to a quantity, then a singular subject, singular verb actually, is used. Right? So for example, and just before I read the examples, this is similar to the subject-verb agreement rule that we just covered, right, with countable and uncountable. However, here we are dealing with numbers and quantity. So it is similar in the sense that if any of these expressions here refer to a number, a plural verb is used, right? So when they refer to a quantity, right, then a singular verb is used. So let's look at the examples here. Some of the water was given to the children. So some of the water here, our subject, was given to the children. Was is the verb, and it is singular. So now, looking at the subject, some of the water here refers to quantity, how much of something it is, right? So it's quantity, right? So this is abstract, okay? We can't actually count that. It's not referring to a number. So some of the water was, notice my verb is singular, right, given to the children. And looking at number 2, most of the marbles were placed in a container. We have most of the marbles here right? And also, we have to pay attention to the expression most of and some of. This, most of the marbles here refers to a number. Therefore, we use a plural verb. Hence the reason, were. It is followed by were. So again, just as a refresher here, when these expressions here refer to a number, a plural verb is used. When they refer to a quantity, then a singular verb is used. So now we are going to use what we have learned here to help us complete a few sentences coming up shortly, okay? So before we get to that, because it's very similar to what we just did with the other expressions with countable and uncountable, we don't need to reinforce that right away because we just had some questions like those, right? So when I'm doing my overall activity to assess, then we can do some more like those. Right, so we are moving on to our next rule here in subject-verb agreement. Now let's see. The expressions all but, all except are used with plural verbs. So we have two expressions here. All but or all except are used with plural verbs. So if you see this expression here, all but something or all except something, you must use or it must be followed by a plural verb. Let's look at the examples here. All except Siddiq are present today. So you have your expression all except, right? So we're talking about probably a class of students. So all except Siddiq, and you have your plural verb, right? So notice the expression all except is followed by a plural verb. Let's look at sentence number 2. All of the girls but Annie have seen that movie before. Your expression here, all of the girls, right, or all of, so they're talking about probably 10, 20, whatever the number is here. They're saying all of the girls but Annie, so everyone except her, right, have, again, it's a plural verb, seen that movie. So you just have to be mindful of these two expressions and know that it must be followed by a plural verb. So let's look at these sentences here, and the numbers are going to be up on your screen, and you can call us and help us to complete these sentences. Okay? So let's look at number 1. All but Jenny was aware given time to prepare a speech. All but Jenny was aware given time to prepare a speech. So I have a call on the line. I'm going to take this call. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results.
Hi, my name is Naomi Mohammed.
Hi, nice to have you with us. So we're on number 1 here. What do you think is the answer or the correct form of the verb?
Were.
Were. Tell me why.
Because all but was used.
Very good, right? So once all but, the expression all but or all except is used, it is followed by a plural verb. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye. So we have another call on the line. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results.
Hi.
Hi, good evening. What's your name?
My name is Sonika also.
Okay. Nice to have you with us. What is the answer for number 2?
The answer is return.
Return. And why did you choose return?
Because all of them expected was used.
Right. All of them. So the expression all of them except or all of except, yes. Right? Or all except. However you want to say it, just know that it includes all and except there. So it is followed by a plural verb. Thank you for your call. So we have another call on the line. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results.
Hi.
Hi, good evening. What's your name?
Leno.
Nice to have you with us. So we're on to number 3 here. What is the answer?
Travel.
Travel, right? You are correct. Thank you for your call. So let's look at the sentence, everyone. All of us but Navin travel, because it is the expression all but must be followed by a plural verb to school by car. And just as a reminder to those of you at home, plural verbs do not end with S, okay? So don't be confused with your verbs and your nouns. Looking at number 4 now. All except Darren play or plays in the field. And we have a caller on the line. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results.
Hi, evening. This is Nicholas again. The answer for number 4 is all except Darren plays in the field.
Yes, Nicholas, you are correct. And would you like to do number 5 as well?
Yes.
Okay.
All but Karen care about dog because subject separated by all or but requires a plural verb.
Great job, Nicholas. You always make us proud, okay? So thank you so much. Thank you, Nicholas. Right, guys? So just keep this rule in mind. Nicholas, he sums it up pretty nicely, right? So whatever helps you to remember that rule, you can put it in your own words, whatever you prefer, as long as you remember the rule, okay? So we're just going to take a pause on calls for now, and we are just going to move on a bit. Right? So we have another rule here. So as you notice, there are a lot of rules, okay? So try not to get confused, and the best way for you to remember them is to actually practice it individually. Just as we do reinforcement exercises regularly, you should also test yourself just like that, okay? So let's see. When two nouns are thought of as one thing, then the verb is singular. Again, when two nouns are thought of as one thing, then the verb is singular. Sometimes, bread and butter is eaten for breakfast. So this example here, right? So bread and butter is considered as, well, we know it's two nouns, but it's considered as one thing. So it is followed by a singular verb. What about number 2? Measles is an infectious disease. So while measles here, this noun ends with S, it is actually singular, right? So you must use a singular verb. Not because it ends with S means that it's plural. So in this case, just as in measles, and if you look at the third example where we have social studies is my favorite subject, you will notice both of these nouns end in S. However, they are followed by a singular verb. Just as with bread and butter considered to be one thing, it is followed by a singular verb, right? So let's look at these sentences here, and you can call us and help us to complete these sentences. And I'm just going to go back a bit, right? For those of you who probably need an extra minute to read this, that's fine. Take your time, okay? And just be mindful and read it carefully. So you can look at it again, and you must note when two nouns are thought of as one thing, then the verb is singular, right? That's what you really have to remember there. And then also with nouns that end in S, just as we have measles or social studies, you should also know that it is followed by a singular verb. So we have a call on the line. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results. Hi, good evening. Welcome to See Results.
Good evening.
Hi, what's your name?
Hello.
Hi, good evening. Welcome to See Results.
Hello.
Hi, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so you are live with us. We're looking at number 1. What do you think is the answer?
Mathematics makes my tummy ache.
Okay, don't go as yet. Right, so we have mathematics make or makes my tummy ache. Now, is mathematics singular or plural?
Singular.
Singular. So a singular subject is followed by
A singular verb.
So which one of these verbs here is actually singular?
Makes.
Okay, are you sure make is singular?
It makes.
Makes. Now, just remember, and this goes for everyone, your singular verbs end in S. Okay, plural verbs do not end in S. So that is, again, singular verbs end in S, and your plural verbs do not end in S. So mathematics here is thought of as one thing, right? So therefore, when two nouns are thought of as one thing, or not only two nouns, sometimes the nouns that end in S here, then the verb is Singular.
Singular.
Right? So mathematics, make or makes my tummy ache. What is your answer?
Make.
Sorry?
Make.
S or no S?
Make.
Okay, does make end with an S or no S?
S.
S, right? So good job there. So makes, mathematics makes my tummy ache, right? So thank you so much for your call and staying on the line with us. And I'm just going to go over this before I take any other calls because I want you all to be careful here. Now we are saying when two nouns are thought of as one thing, then the verb is singular. And we gave this example here where we have bread and butter being thought of as one thing, and then it is followed by a singular verb. And we are also saying for nouns that end in S, just as measles or social studies here, it is also followed by a singular verb, right? So while, yes, it looks as though it is plural, it is actually singular, right? So we have another call on the line. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum assalam. What's your name?
Rafia.
Nice to have you with us. So we're on number 2. What do you think is the answer for number 2?
Has.
Has. Tell me why.
Trinidad and Tobago is considered as one thing.
One thing, right? So that is correct. Trinidad and Tobago is considered as one thing. While it's two separate nouns, Trinidad and Tobago there, it's considered as one. So that caller there is correct. Right? We have another call on the line. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results.
Hi,
Hi, good evening. What's your name?
Antonio George.
Nice to have you with us, Antonio. So we're on to number 3 there. What do you think is the answer?
Number 3, the answer begins with S.
S. You are correct. Tell me why.
Because plural subject it doesn't have an S.
Yeah, well, actually, this is singular. Begins here is singular. And news is thought of as one thing. While it ends in S, it is actually thought of as one thing, right? It just ends with S. Similarly with mathematics or social studies.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Okay, guys, so I'm looking at number 3 here. Just as we had mathematics or we had social studies or measles ending with S, similarly with news, okay, thought of as one or singular. So news begins promptly at 7. We have another call on the line. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results.
Hi.
Hi, good evening. What's your name?
Maya.
Hi, Maya. So we're on to number 4. What is the answer?
The answer is tastes.
Tastes. You are correct. Right? So thank you, Maya. Right? So molasses tastes delicious on pancakes. Again, molasses here ending with S. Same thing applies with news or mathematics where it is singular. Okay, guys? And we have a caller here, another caller on the line. I'm going to take that one to wrap up number 5. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results. Hi, good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results.
Hi.
Hi, good evening. What's your name?
Kaniqua.
Hi, nice to have you with us. So we're on to number 5. What is the answer for number 5? Ah. Tell me why ah.
Because the verb
Yeah.
is plural.
Yeah, but what about the subject here, mums? Do you know what is mums? Do you know what is mums? What is meant by the word mums?
No.
Okay, mumps is actually a type of disease, right? A virus. So mumps here is actually spelled M-U-M-P-S. That is the actual spelling of the word mumps. And it is thought of as one or singular, right? So therefore, it was going to take a singular verb. So mumps is a contagious disease. Yeah. Similarly, where we had measles, and this is how measles is spelled, right? Is followed by a singular verb. So measles and mumps both end with S, right? And that is its natural spelling there. And it is singular, so therefore it is followed by a singular verb.
Yeah.
Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for your call. So I can see from this exercise here a little confusion with nouns ending in S. But don't worry, we are going to do some more practice with this rule in particular as I am seeing here that students are confusing, you know, or trying to decipher whether it's actually singular or plural, right? And if you are also confused at home, you probably didn't have a chance to call, just rewatch the video, rewatch the rule when you get some extra time and try to figure it out. But don't worry, I will also help you along the way, okay? So I'm just going to recap a little bit. We're looking at this rule here, and I just want to go to the example, particularly with the nouns that end in S. So we have measles here, and we have social studies. Or even think about mathematics. They all end in S. It is actually singular and not plural, okay? So mathematics is one thing, social studies is one subject, measles here is actually one disease, right? So it is all followed by a singular verb, right? Similarly with Trinidad and Tobago, considered as one thing. So hence the reason it is followed by a singular verb. Similarly with news or molasses, both ending with S, but thought of as one or singular. Therefore, it is followed by a singular verb. Okay, guys, so I hope you understand that a little better there. And then we have another rule, but I'm just going to take a short break, and I'll be right back. And after this break, we are going to continue with our subject-verb agreement rules. Okay, guys, so don't go anywhere.
Chiclesia Limited, the Caribbean's largest manufacturers of plain and printed paper bags, leaders in plastic bags, vermicelli, split piece powder, and greaseproof paper, ideal for doubles, french fries, and sandwiches. Supplying stores nationwide. For quality products, trust Chiclesia Limited, 665-3336.
IBN can be viewed on the go now with the Airlink TV app for Google devices. Simply go to the Google Play Store, search for the Airlink TV app. Download the app, click on the link and fill out the form. The account activation will be emailed or texted to the user. It's safe as no credit card is needed. The first 30 days are free and you can subscribe and receive a box for your TV to stream the same content.
High blood pressure is as dangerous as an overpumped balloon. Measuring your blood pressure every day can save you from risk of high blood pressure. MicroLife fully automatic upper arm blood pressure monitor with stroke risk detection. MicroLife AFib screens for atrial fibrillation while taking your blood pressure. High blood pressure and atrial fibrillation are both considered controllable risk factors for stroke. If AFib is present during blood pressure measurement, the AFib icon is displayed flashing at the end of the triple measurement. Once 3 measurements are complete, the measurement data are shown on the display. MicroLife, a partner for people, for life.
Assalamu alaikum, good evening guys, and welcome back to C Results. So just before the break, we looked at a couple rules. You know, we're still dealing with subject-verb agreement, and now we are going to continue with those rules, right? We are close to the end of this topic, so make sure that you are taking notes and putting it to use as well, right? So now, look at this rule here, a little different to the one that we just did. And I'm just going to go back to that for 1 second. So it's a little different to this rule here. So like with nouns that end in S here, we know that it is singular in meaning, and therefore it is followed by a singular verb. Now looking at this rule, nouns that are always plural in form and meaning take a plural verb. Again, nouns that are always plural in form and meaning take a plural verb. Now, let's look at some examples of some such nouns. So if you say boxers, or jeans, trousers, binoculars, goggles, headphones, or goods, right? All of these words here, all of these nouns are actually plural in meaning. and therefore it will take, or it is followed by a plural verb. So if we say jeans, right, we know that it is plural. Similarly with goggles or headphones, right, they refer to two, right? So all of these here are plural and must be followed by a plural verb. So it is both plural in form and in meaning. So let's look at the first example. Lila's new pants fit her well. Now the noun here, pants, is actually plural in form and meaning. So this is plural, so it needs to be therefore should be followed by a plural verb. And my verb here, fit, again is plural. So this is my verb and this is my noun. So my noun is plural in meaning and my verb should therefore be plural. Again, pants is plural in meaning and therefore should be followed by a plural verb. Look at the second example. These goggles are my favorite, right? So goggles here, it's your plural noun, and you have the verb are, the helping verb there, are, which is also plural. So once more, your plural noun must be followed by a plural verb. What is different about this rule, aside from the plural subject is followed by a plural verb, is that these words here are actually plural in form. So once you read them, so if you say trousers or binoculars, you know that it is naturally plural, okay? They will always be plural in meaning. So we have a couple sentences here as we usually do. Feel free to call us and help us complete these sentences, right? And I'm just going to go back for 1 second, so some of you can probably have a second look at the rule before you call us. So the numbers are going to be up on your screen, and I'm sure a lot of you might have it already saved on your phone, which is great, right? Easy dialing there. So your nouns again, such as boxers, jeans, trousers, binoculars, all of these here are actually plural in meaning and plural in form, and therefore will take a plural verb. And by now you're probably thinking of a couple nouns that you know to the top of your head that are already you are accustomed using, and they are plural in meaning, right? So let's look at number 1 here. And we have a call on the line, so I'm going to take this call. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results.
Hi, this is Nicholas again.
Hi, Nicholas. So do you have, just before you answer me, do you have a summary of this rule, or do you know this rule a different way? I realize that some of the rules that I'm teaching, like a different way to say it. Do you know any different way to say this one?
Well, this rule is new to me, so...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's great. So let's see how you do here. Look at number 1.
So number 1, those shorts suit you.
Very good, Nicholas.
Thanks.
A, right? I'll give you an A for effort. You are great at this, right? And all of you, of course, are brave callers. You all do such a good job at calling and answering, and even if it's not the correct answer, you do stick it out and get that with us, and we really appreciate that, right? That's what we want. So thanks, Nicholas.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, so we have another caller on the line. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results.
Hi.
Hi, good evening. What's your name? Nice to have you with us. Do you mind lowering the volume on your television set, please?
Okay.
So while we are waiting this caller, the rest of you at home, try to figure out the answer, jot it down on a piece of paper and see if you get it correct, okay? So caller, are you there? Sorry? Caller, are you there?
Hi.
Hi. Okay, so what's your name?
Antonio George.
Okay, Antonio, we're on number 2. What is the answer here?
Do.
Do. You are correct. Thank you, Antonio, for your answer. And okay, so we have callers on the line, so I'm going to take the calls, and as soon as we have a minute to spare, or probably after the 5 sentences, 6 actually, I will recap and discuss it, okay? So we have another caller here. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results.
Hello.
Hi, good evening. What's your name?
Jarvis.
Sorry?
Javier Singh.
Nice to have you with us. What is the answer for number 3?
Where are my spectacles?
Where are my spectacles? You are correct. Thank you for your call. We have another call on the line. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results.
Hello.
Hi, good evening. What's your name?
Ebenezer Smart.
Hi, Ebenezer. So what is the answer for number 4? Sorry? Well, number 4 actually is the tweezers belong or belongs to my mother. What do you think is the answer, Ebenezer?
Belong.
Belong. You are correct. So thank you for your call. We have another caller there. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results.
Hi, good night.
Hi, good evening. Welcome. What's your name?
Kanda.
Nice to have you with us. So what is the answer for number 5? You are correct. Thank you so much for that call. Right, and are you there, caller? Okay. She went, but I was going to ask her to help us with number 6, right? So looking at number 6, because we are running out of time, right? A pair of scissors. Okay, I have a call on the line. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results. Is. Great. Don't go yet. Tell me why.
Because scissors is a plural noun. Therefore, to take a...
Are you there?
Yeah, hello?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I mean a plural is a plural. A scissors is a plural noun. Therefore, take a plural verb.
Right, but in this case here, it says a pair of scissors.
Oh, one pair means, yes, it's one pair. So
Right.
Excellent,
right? So that's what I wanted to point out to you there. So thank you so much for calling.
Confused now.
Okay, no problem. Right. Okay, guys, so I'm just going to stop on the calls a little bit. Let's go through these. So let's look at number 1. Those shorts suit you. Those shorts suit you. So shorts here, it's our plural noun. It's our plural noun. So therefore, it is followed by a plural verb, right? Looking at number 2, Grandpa's old pliers do or does not work anymore. Pliers there, it's a tool. I don't know how many of you at home probably use them or know about them. It's a tool, right? So again, it's a plural noun, and do here will be a plural verb. Number 3, where are my spectacles? Spectacles here, we know it's plural, your plural noun, therefore we use a plural verb. And number 4, the tweezers belong or belongs to my mother. So belong here will be our plural verb, and tweezers is our plural noun, okay? Number 5, my pajamas are in my dryer. So your pajamas here is your plural noun, and you have your plural verb following that plural noun. Number 6 here is what I want you to pay close attention to. A pair of scissors is or are all I need, right? If I just said scissors are all I need, or if I just had scissors, then I would need to say scissors are all I need. But I am being specific here, right? And I'm asking, or I'm telling you, a pair of scissors. I'm pointing out to you it's just one pair of scissors. So therefore, it is followed by a singular verb. Now, it's subject, therefore, a pair of scissors will become singular because I am specifically telling you it's one, right? So a singular subject is followed by a singular verb. So I hope that all of you, or if not all, most of you got this one correct, and I did not trick you, but that was the aim there anyway, okay? So that's it today, guys, for subject-verb agreement. And next day, we will be doing some revision on all of the rules that we have covered. So that will be tomorrow, in fact. So tomorrow when we open the lines for calls for revision, you know, I trust that you went and probably rewatched the videos or probably had them jotted down already and you reread them, right? So be prepared for that and look out for that as well. Just a reminder, as we usually do, right? Edmodo is our educational app where we post our quizzes for mathematics, ELA, and creative writing. This is the class code here, so if you are new and you are joining the class, this is the code that you need to enter. And the instructions are simple, both for students and for parents who would like to join and register with the class, right? It's very helpful. It also, you know, it is useful for students as a forum to discuss questions or pose questions or anything like that. So I urge you and I encourage you to participate. And of course, the videos are there for you on Facebook and YouTube to rewatch at your disposal. So please make the most of it, right? And, you know, I trust that you will do what you have to do in order to get yourselves ready for this SE exam. And we are seeing the determination, you know, from students. You know, there are always eager students calling before the show starts while it's going on to answer questions, asking questions via Edmodo, even messaging us on Facebook. We encourage all of that. You know, we are here to help. And so if you do need help, you know, message us or something like that, and we will respond to you at the quickest that we can, right? Don't forget, tomorrow we have we have ELA and creative writing from 5 p.m. Okay, guys, so it has been my pleasure being in your company, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, right? Do have a pleasant afternoon.